Good morning, students. Today we will study about the environments of plants, its topographic factor. The surface of the earth is even over wide area, the vegetation is uniform. If the surface is uneven or irregular, the vegetation is modified considerably. The irregular factor of the earth's surface are known as topography or the physiographic factor. They have origin in the form, behavior and structure of the earth's surface. Topography affects the growth of the plant in two ways. It brings about local variation in climatic condition and modifies the edaphic factor of the habitat. The topographic factor include altitude of the place, stiffness of the slope, exposure of the slope to light and wind, direction of the mountain chain. The topographic influences the soil condition by affecting the position of the water table. In general, water table tend to be nearer the surface of the soil in valley than on hill. On the hill, where the water table is deeply situated, owing to the rapid percolation of water through the soil, drought conditions may occur. In valley, however, in spite of this extreme porosity of the soil, the proximity of the water table result in a good plant growth. Altitude. The continuous increase in altitude and its effect on vegetation can best observed on the mountain. Increase in altitude is usually associated with climatic changes which the decrease in temperature, increase in precipitation, increase in wind velocity, increase in humidity. It has been found that the temperature decreases at the rate of 6 to 7 degrees centigrade per 1000 meter. This gradual decrease in temperature with the increase in altitude may not be correct in case of the valley and the lowlands. Sometimes these places may be much cooler than the mountain top due to downward descent of the cold air. Another fact worth nothing is that the amount of the total energy absorbed at the higher altitude is higher than that at the lower altitude level because of the thin atmosphere. This increased absorption of heat is, however, not able to raise the temperature of the air because of strong wind and increased rate of precipitation. The increased rainfall and low temperature gradually influence the development of soil and the vegetation. The organic matter of the soil increases, which in turn increases the nitrogen content and the acidity of the soil. The mountain, as we ascend towards the mountain, there is a change in temperature. This gives a definite pattern of the vegetational generation similar to the sequence of the vegetation mat within the moving from equator to the pole. At the mountain top, the plant may be exposed to very humid or very dry condition. Steepness of the slope, the second topographic factor. The slope of a rocks or a mountain place is another feature of the topography which affect the nature of the vegetation. Steep slope causes swift runoff water after a rainfall. This decreases the moisture content of the soil which become dry. Besides, the soil become unstable and may even be completely eroded. The swift running stream of water carrying away the superficial layer of the soil. The humus is also not allowed to accumulate. The bare rocks are exposed. Plant cannot establish themselves on such a substratum. That's why the steep slopes of the mountain and conspicuous by the absence of higher plants and the bare rocks support a very poor vegetation consisting of few xerophytic shrubs only. The water table is very low in the hills on the slope. Plant cannot get a permanent supply of water from the very deep water table. In the valley, the water table is nearer the soil level and therefore they have a luxuriant vegetation. The harmful effect of the steep slope, the farmer employ terrace farming on the hill. The small terrace like flat field reduce the force of the flowing water. Exposure of the slope to light and wind. A mountain slope exposed to weak intensity of light no direct light, and strong dry wind. Have phyllodes vegetation. Example, vegetation of the northern slope of the Himalaya. Usually, the vegetation of the north facing slope consists of a shade loving species and may also be sometimes less xerophilous than that of the southern slope. The slope exposed to the direct sunlight and humid wind have a luxuriant vegetation. Example, the vegetation of the southern Himalayas. There is a great difference in the temperature of the slope of the different solar, and it received different solar radiation and relative humidity, wind movement. In this reason, this is rare in a critical factor for the vegetation is not affected very much by the slope or exposure. This means that the effect of topographic factor are largely correlated with the moisture content of the region. Soil of the steep slope is usually eroded and therefore higher plants may be completely absent. Direction of the mountain chain. If the mountain chain lie in a path of wind which is full of water vapor, there is a heavy rainfall on the wind striking side of the mountain. As in case of Garo, Khasi and the Chirapunji, which is situated in the area, this area get world highest rainfall because of the water vapor laden wind blowing by the Bay of Bengal condense and precipitate after striking them these high mountain. These result in a very luxurious growth in this area. The monsoon in the Assam wind are turned toward the western region by the mountain chain, causing good rainfall in the northern India. On the other hand, the similar wind moving from the Arabian Sea blow over the part of Rajasthan without condensing into raindrop because there is no mountain chain in the path of the wind. Mountains are of great source of water for the nearby area. Large river originate in the mountain where after being fed by the rainfall they flow down into the valleys below and plain beyond. Thank you.